Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we are at property address 12220 Southwest Grant Avenue here in Tigard. I describe everything as if you are standing in the street facing the front of the building. So right now we are out back. We're just outside the slider door. This is where that big popped out section out back is. We've got a 4-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero out just inside the access point here. And so this clean out's kind of a different one. It 90s toward the house, not away from it. So that's a type of pass-through clean out that's going to allow you to go from the very back end most part of the line. It also does pick up a drain tie-in on the outside here. I can't tell if it's for the storm system or for a separate plumbing fixture. But these are really cool. They allow you to service the entire line from the rear end most part of it from the exterior of the house. That's a very unique setup to have. Especially if you're going to have a commercial business here, especially nursing home type stuff. I worked in that field for a long time. I'll tell you what, there are a few people more busy than a maintenance guy at a nursing home. I mean, getting out the cable auger to auger out the line on a daily basis wasn't even unusual. A lot of employees flushing wipes and things down the line, stuff like that. So it's really nice to have proper access on these types of places because they are often fairly prone to having issues. And a lot of it's related to how the line's being treated. So anyway, thus far, this line is immaculate. It is spotless clean. Looks great so far. Turned on a bathtub there. It's getting a little hard to push. I repositioned my camera a little bit. Yeah, this thing is remarkably clean. It's amazing. I can't tell what we're coming up on here. Oh, you got roots in the line. Pretty good sized set of roots there. I'm going to go locate really quick. I don't know if we're going to be able to scope the whole line from this access point. It's got a lot of twists and turns in it. Lines this length, though, generally have multiple clean out accesses for a reason. You got to have them every 100 feet by code. This line's especially twisty and turny, though. Anyway, I'm going to try and go locate really quick. There's also a tie-in at the top of the pipe right here, which may allow us to move the camera. Alrighty. So currently, I'm picking up a signal. Right now, my signal's coming in the sidewalk. I'm not sure for how long the sign's going to remain there, but it is right next to a construction sign, a big orange, I think, end of construction zone or something like that. We're sitting right next to that. And that's a nasty root ball right there. It's blocking up basically the entire sewer line. I mean, that's a nasty one. My locate here, though, is coming in really wonky. It's not a super clear signal. I did put an X mark down there. Just understand that is for reference only. Part of the issue, too, is we're on a really hard, wonky turn right there, which articulates the camera head funny and often produces a much less than ideal locate signal. And I did not see any tie-in. That tie-in is in a location where you often expect to see a test tee. In fact, it's a very normal location to see a transition, and that's most likely what that route's coming through. My assumption there, I've been doing this 13 years, I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines. We're getting right to the right-of-way area, and that is where you typically will have a transition of materials. Well, the line will, go from ABS to 6-inch concrete to PVC, something of that nature. Sometimes it's the same diameter, sometimes not. But those transition joints are infinitely weaker joints to root intrusions than any other joint. So it would not surprise me one bit if that's at a transition. I can't get the camera to go through that. It's basically 100% blockage just about. We've got another tie-in right here, which may very well be a clean out access. Hoping. Alrighty. We've got a slow draining tub. We're gonna probably have water flowing through the pipe for a lot of this. It's just I can't get it to stop. Here, we're in kind of the planter area between the driveway, parking area. There's a little finger driveway thingy as you come in to kind of hang a right. There's a little extra piece of driveway there. Anyway, we're between that and the sidewalk right now. The line ends up paralleling the street. As you face this building from the road, the line comes out the front. I haven't figured out where yet, but it ends up turning and it flows from left to right in parallel with the road. And then that hard, crazy turn out there where the roots are at, where the line's straightening out to then turn and shoot off into the road, it looks like. Kind of an odd configuration, but right there was a tie-in. I wish, honest to God, I about need a chainsaw or an excavator. That is some of the most root-bound soil I have ever seen. There is not a single spot I probed out there, and I probably probed 50 different holes where you don't hit just a massive lattice work of very, very thick, heavy roots. Part of that problem is every single root you hit feels like a clean-out cap. But you can't even hardly dig up the ground there. It is so root bound, and they're not little roots; they're big. And anyway, as a reference, so I got a much better locate there. My depth was coming in, and the line is not diving off terribly hard, so the depth should be similar at the roots. I was getting around 5'8" to 6 feet deep there. Well, this gives you an idea as to the depth those roots are, but I do still recommend relocating. Anyway, luckily the line is as clean as it is. Usually I need that water drained off a little more to get a better view of the line. In this case, this thing is crazy clean. I'm not sure if they're periodically cleaning the line. I mean, as far as it relates to businesses like this, you know, being a nursing home or something like that, it's very unusual to have a line this clean. They often have a very high volume of stuff going down them, and a lot of times it's stuff you don't want going down the line. Wipes are a very common thing to go down toilets. So that, or they're doing a really good job at watching what goes down the pipe here. But if they know they have roots, sometimes people will do periodic cleanings to keep stuff at bay. I'm not sure that's the case, though, because the roots are humongous. They're blocking the whole line. Now, I'm not having much luck here, unfortunately. I was hoping to see another tie-in. Anyway, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a clean-out out there. We were stopping out there around, 75, 80 feet. We had another tie-in right where the root intrusion was, too. That spot is very hard to locate, though. And now I was picking up under the sidewalk, but as bad as that locate was coming in, again, that is reference only. I'll put that on the report. It all needs to be relocated before doing any digging. Just getting a really bad locate signal here. So, real quick, I'm going to push the camera out here for just a moment, just to locate where the line exits the building. I'm really surprised I have not seen another clean out access, unless this is doing something different than I think it is and wraps around the building. Anyway, being that the line needs to be dealt with anyway, you've got a good reason to take this thing further. Either try and jet the line out, clear the roots out so you can get a camera pass. I'm not confident that's going to work. You may need a larger, heavier duty commercial camera that's got the extra thick cable on it to power through all that. Sometimes those hinder you too when you have hard turns. It just depends. So those roots may stop you up no matter what, because the turns are so hard in here. It's hard to say, but you could start there and see if you can get the camera to go through this clean out to that point, or somebody have to spend some time trying to cut the ground up there and open a clean out. If nothing else, if you're digging down to fix the roots, you can run a camera through the open trench. I'm feeling like a total goofball. I even noticed the darn thing coming into here. There's a cover plate. If you're, again, standing in the driveway or the street facing the front of the house, just to the left of the front door of the patio, you'll see a steel cover plate. We're sitting straight out from the big window just to the left of the front door. We should see a tie-in here. It might just be a hard one to see. And I'll go out there to locate and verify it. Anyway, with the roots the size they are, the line needs cleaning. I was mostly trying to find that just so you have got a better point of access post-drain cleaning. My concern there is even with the roots gone, it's that set of turns that's going to kill you. I mean, the roots are terrible, but you combine the two together, and it just stops you cold. But even going to that access point, you've still got basically 100% root blockage there. I don't like to try and plow my camera through that kind of stuff. I've already taken a whack at it. It's very, very dense. So I recommend cutting the roots out and then re-scoping. That's just to basically see the remainder of the sewer line to see if anything else needs attention. What that's also going to do, though, too, is open the line up properly and allow you to see if there's any gradation issues there. If you've got, let's say a big root, but the joint at the pipe there is still in alignment, you could, theoretically do an epoxy liner and shoot a liner through it rather than dig. And there are some advantages to doing that when you're in and around trees. It's an added layer inside the pipe that's already there, but they're a jointless pipe product, so it creates less weak points for roots to re-enter the line. I don't know. I just located there and verified that is over the top that clean out. So under that little steel cover plate out front there, you'll see an access point. That's the clean out you'll want to use to do drain cleaning through and the rest of the sewer scoping once that's dealt with. That's a bummer it's got those roots. This is otherwise just an awesome looking sewer line. Especially considering the length that it is and the kind of arrangement you have here, just how the house is situated relative to the road. This is a line I would have fully expected had huge bellies in it. They very commonly do when you've got this kind of layout. So anyway, as for now, I highly recommend the line be jetted to clear the roots out. One, that gets everything free-flowing. That's a huge concern right now in a vacant building. But to allow you to properly scope the remainder of the sewer line and assess how extensive that damage is. You may very well have roots beyond that point or some other issue that needs to be dealt with. Anyway, everything up to about 93 or 4 feet there looks great. From that point on, unfortunately, I can't tell you right now. And the line's got a weird configuration. It zigs and zags all over the place. By the time the line ends up coming out to the left of the front door, although the clean out here is situated much further to the right of the front door, it kind of zigs and zags through the building. Once it gets into the parking lot, it does a shot straight across the building back the direction basically the line came. So I'm not sure why it was laid out that way, but it's a kind of an overly convoluted line, but there's usually a reason for it. So anyway, get her cleaned, re-scoped, see how extensive that is. Obviously, I highly recommend those roots be dealt with. Those are nasty. They're going to cause a full-on backup. Even at 93 feet out, when you get roots that are capable of blocking basically 100% of the line on their own, it's a guarantee that's gonna result in a sewer event at some point. And this is a line I would camera periodically. There's a lot of root foliage out there. That bark dust is unreal. If you go probing into it, it is just a lattice work of thick, 1-inch thick roots, if not bigger. And it's a line it would probably make sense to re-scope periodically just to keep an eye out for root intrusions that occur. It's entirely possible you could end up with more in the future. Hopefully not, but it happens.